Welcome to our fourth episode of MiTech Tuesdays, MIT ESP's on mini webinar sessions during which we plan to share our knowledge in terms of expertise and experience and other trending topics. I'm Dasun Kariyawasam and I'm here with you to be your host for the day. Today, we have a very thought-provoking topic, focusing on intelligent automations and IoT and data approach for enterprises. During this session, we are going to dive deep into the topic by focusing on enterprise IoT and industry applications, achieving Industry 4.0 standards, as well as the value of data for the future of enterprises. To navigate us through this topic, we have with us MillenniumIT ESP's Senior Executive Intelligent Automation Data, Dasun Kariyawasam. Dasun comes from a background in electronic and electrical engineering and has experience in working in smart agriculture projects in South Australia. He is currently involved in various projects in manufacturing, farming, apparel, aviation, as well as the ports industry, working in which his experience in the field has immensely grown. His career objective is to guide and help various industries as well as enterprises to achieve the pinnacle of Industry 4.0 using electronics, software, and data. But before I cordially invite Dasun to take over controls, I would like to encourage all of you to feel free to ask questions as the session will go on. How you do that is by sending in your questions through the chat feature that you should be able to see on the right-hand side of your screens. All right, without further ado, Dasun, over to you.
All right, let's get into this. So I'm Dasun, and thanks for the introduction. Nothing gave about me, and that's about much about me. So I'll just straight away get into the presentation and guide you through the agenda to start off with. In the evening today, my agenda is mainly planned in 5 main topics, which is a smart enterprise, in which I would explain to you what a smart enterprise is and what are the objectives that you should achieve for you to be smart, for your enterprise to be smart. And then the role of IoT that plays in an enterprise, in a smart enterprise or Industry 4.0, anything that plays the role of smart, what IoT has to do with it. And by doing so, how it would lead you towards the Industry 4.0 standards. And especially in my fourth topic, I want to emphasize on why Industry 4.0 would be a big kind of a deal for local industries rather than the first 3 revolutions that we had. And to finish off with, I'll talk about the data. The most important part of all of these things is the data and how it would affect and shape the future of industries and businesses and whatever that's going to come. And after that, there'll be a Q&A session, and also I've arranged a video for you all to see and to get an understanding that we've done for a client of ours, an ice cream factory. So after seeing that, you'll see what I'm talking about, and you'll get an understanding what IoT can do to your enterprise and how it can lead you towards the Industry 4.0 journey. So I'm focusing my presentation mainly in 3 categories of people. So our beloved clients. So if they are listening to this, they would get an understanding on how to take their enterprise and on what to see and what not to see when you're coming to plan smart enterprise models. And if there are students and interns, I hope this would help them to get an understanding on the future of their career path, how to shape their career path in the growing technology business. So going to my next slide. So what is a smart enterprise? I want to start off with that. So in my point of view, a smart enterprise would be an enterprise that can be independent. That would be the essence of being smart. So independent can go in 2 different ways. Someone can be independent and not do much things, and someone can be independent and do brilliantly. So what we are talking about, that brilliantly depends on the data that you acquire and that you analyze. So forget about enterprises, industries, or anything. Just take an individual person. You can call him a smart, or him or her. You can call them a smart, independent person if they are making right choices, if they are doing the right thing at the right time. So if someone's like that, we call them, okay, that's a smart person. So that same philosophy, that same idea applies for an enterprise or for an industry or anything like that, when it comes to defining it. So what I'm trying to say is a smart enterprise is the capability for an enterprise to be independent by analyzing its own data rather than depending on others. So for an example, if you take smart agriculture, and if you're taking the weather reports from the news or from any internet or from things like that, this information would not be particular for your farm, for your industry. It's a general point of view that you are getting, and you're adjusting your business according to that. So you're depending on that data. You're depending on a data which is not essential for you. But if you're going for a simple solution like a weather station for your farm, just by adding that, you have all the information that you need for your business. So when it comes to soil conditioning or when it comes to anything else, you have all the information that is unique to your industry and that is unique to your farm, and then you don't have to depend on anyone else. You have good data, and then you can make your own decisions and do something new which others wouldn't even think of. So that would be an example, a simple example, how your enterprise or your business can be smart. So with that, let me guide you on telling how to approach the smart enterprise standards. So it comes in a few different steps. So to start off with anything, the first thing is you have to identify processes where you need immediate visibility on. So you can be a factory manager, you can be a director, you can be an engineer, you can be a person who's working in a process line or anything. So each one of you would have your ideas on the visibility aspect of it. So for an example, for a director, they might not get full visibility of a certain process that they have. So they might be making losses or profits rather, but then they still don't know. They know, okay, something's going right, so we are making profits, or something's going wrong, so we are not doing good. But then they don't have that clear understanding on where they are doing right or wrong. So for that, first, they need to understand, okay, we need visibility on this aspect of you. So for an example, if the director is towards the supply chain of sites, then you would say, okay, in my supply chain of issues, I don't have much visibility on our fleet management side. So I think I might need to get information, or I might need to see data on this aspect. And then he would go to the second point and say, okay, locating devices and things you need information from. So if you take the same example, that he might need information from from the trucks and from the drivers who are driving the trucks and things like that. So that's where he would locate, okay, I need information on fuel consumption of the trucks, or the temperature control, temperature status of the trucks, or the GPS location and things like that. And on the other hand, he can say, okay, are my drivers are ready for this for their job, they can do a fatigue monitoring, thing like that. So in that sort of way, in any industry, the person who's involved with the industry always know, okay, I need visibility on this side, and these would be the devices and things that I need to get my information from if I want to get visibility on this particular point of things. So once those two things are identified, you can go to the third point of extracting raw data out of identified devices. So when I say extracting data, which means like it can be sensors, ERP systems, anything like that, and I'll address more about it towards the as I progress in this presentation. So extracting data out of identified devices would be the third step, and the other major step is getting data is one thing, but cleansing and arranging the data is another thing. So you can get raw data and there'll be a lot of garbage data that you receive. So if you put all those data in a dashboard or in a report all at once, again, you might see something that you've never seen before, but then it would not make much sense for you, and it won't give you any return on the investment that you make on your own data. So you have to make sure, like, whatever the data you get, you have to clean it properly and arrange it in a sort of way so that it can present well, and you can, soon as you see them, you can make decisions, sort of thing. So you have to be smart in that point of view. And after you cleanse and arrange the data, then you will know how you want to see the data. So you have to plan on how you need to view the data. So for an example, in a factory floor, say the workers who are working there in a particular division, they don't need to see the business performance or the sales targets or anything like that. They might just need to see their factory process only. So you have to plan in such a way, okay, for this factory premise, we might need this much of screens, and there are 5 departments. If we give 5 screens for each department, they'll see their own business, and we'll give a big screen for our engineers so they can see everything. And when it comes to the directors and managers and things like that, they might not see all the nitty-gritties of technology or anything. They might see the final result that they've achieved. So they will see the KPIs or they've achieved the targets or not, or things like that. They can see it. So there should be a proper hierarchical aspect of things when it comes to dashboarding and reporting. And also, whatever the hierarchies that you create, you have to make sure that this data is in a such way that it will help us to increase our productivity and reduce our costs. And once the planning and everything is done, then it's directly dashboarding and reporting. There are many tools these days for dashboards and reporting, and obviously there's 2 categories for it: for real-time visibility and analyzing of data and getting the visibility out of it. So real-time, always there are real-time dashboards with widgets and a lot of colorful items and a lot of arithmetics and features like that nowadays. And then when it comes to analyzing data, there's always BI tools that you can address to. And then the last step is you have to repeat these steps for all the processes that you think you need more visibility on. And it is not a big deal. I mean, if you think it in a whole big scale, then it seems like it's a big project and there's a lot of investment and things that you have to do to get it achieved. But then if you take it in a small chunks of it, it won't be much of a problem, and the timelines also won't be that hard to manage. So if it's a small process that you start off with, and if the project sort of thing could be done within a month, you start to see your data in a month and information out of it, and then within 3 months you start to get an ROI out of it. So once the ROI is there, then you can plan on moving to a next process, which you need more visibility on. So you have to keep on repeating these steps until you are satisfied with your visibility of the enterprise. So it doesn't have to be 100% visible. An enterprise doesn't have to be 100% visible. All the data doesn't need to come at once, but it should always show you the critical data which affects your production and business purposes. That's the main thing, and that's the key of it. You have to locate these things and repeat these processes. So what does IoT has to play in a smart enterprise role? That would be my second point to address. So basically the role of IoT in smart enterprises or smart businesses, whatever you call it, something to do with smart, whatever IoT has to do is come with basically 4 pillars kind of thing. So there should be a proper network, and there should be proper data acquisition tools, and an IoT platform for the edge. So I'll explain what this means, and also again there should be data storage. So data analytics doesn't fall under IoT. IoT is from digitalization digitalization is there, and then after that you have to get the data out of the digitalized parameters and then store this data in a common in a central place, so that the data analysts, the data engineers can come in later and get these data and do the analytics, whichever is necessary for future developments. So IoT basically comes with these four categories, and analyzing data is not part of it. So when you're talking about networks, there are optics, Wi-Fi, radio frequencies, and especially 3G, 4G networks. And nowadays, there's pretty much there's always a way that you can find a network in order to connect all your assets and things that you want to see. And then data acquisition tools. So all these new machineries basically come with inbuilt capability of storing data. So there are a lot of protocols and things that these machines talk with. So these machines are there, but then when you're talking about old machineries, we might have to come up with new sensors or actuators or things like that in order to get the data out of them. And it won't be much of an investment rather than like compared to replacing a whole machine. So there might be an old machine and there might be a brand new machine which does the same job. But if you can get the data out of your old machine, and if you analyze it properly, and if you do accordingly, you can definitely reach the standards of the new machine that you're gonna buy by paying large amounts of money. So data acquisition tools can play a big role in this. So sensors and actuators mainly come towards the factory premises for industrial IoT point of view. And there are building management systems, ERP systems, and smart devices. They are big tools of data acquisition. And then there are HR systems, finance systems. There are a lot of systems like that which already gather data. So these data are already there. So what data acquisition tools does is they sense these data out of the places that they want to. And then the third point is the main one, which is you have to choose a proper IoT platform for the edge. So when I mean by the edge, it means this platform should sit on, in your premises. So it can be a factory premise, it can be an office or something like that, but it should sit inside your premises physically, so that number one, it will the latency issues won't be there, and then number two, security would be much greater when it's in the same network as in your office or in your office network. So this IoT edge is the one at the end of the day acts centrally with all these things. So whatever the data that you get through your networks is connected to your IoT edge, and from that edge you start to do your pre-processing, and then you clean your data, and you push these data, whatever the necessary data for later analytics, you push these to either physical servers or for a cloud platform. So after that point onwards, it's up to the data science and data engineers to carry it on from there. So once these four pillars, or once these 4 points are completed, that means there is an IoT solution happening there. So it doesn't have to always be sensors or anything like that. So whatever network connects to something that has data, and it connects to an IoT platform, and this platform would do all the necessary items. So in the next slide, I would talk to you about the MIT IoT Edge, which is our own platform that we have developed with a partnership with a French company called IoTech. So they do the co-developments, and after that, whatever the developments that we need to customize it, MIT does it. So by explaining this, I will also try to explain, when choosing an IoT platform, what you should mainly look into. So this platform is basically from southbound to northbound. So southbound devices would be the sensors, actuators, building management systems, ERPs, and things like that, where you get data from. And then the northbound devices would be your physical servers or the cloud environment that you're going to store your data in. So in between, there are a lot of services, but what you should firstly give attention to is the device services and device protocols that these platforms can talk with, because a lot of machineries and a lot of sensors talk in different languages or different protocols. So if your platform is limited when talking with these machines, then it won't help you much. So first you should focus on the amount of languages, the amount of protocols that your platform can talk with. So in here, for an example, you can see in our platform, we have Modbus, OPC, UA, ZigBee, Profinet, Profibus, Bluetooth, MQTT. All these major protocols have been included in our platform, so that we can make sure once it is installed in your factory, whatever the future additions there would be, you can still talk to these machines through your platform, and you don't have to change or do upgrades or anything like that. And then after that, once you get the data, there will be a commanding back, and you'll be storing these data in the node-bound devices. So what core data and these things does, it handles the data and send wherever it needs to be sent properly. And then once it goes to the supporting services, you have Node-RED real-time analytical tool in our MIT IoT platform. And then we use Grafana as our real-time dashboard provider. So we use all our real-time dashboards, real-time analytics, and everything is shown by using Grafana. And you have Grafana Community Edition as well as License Edition. So anyone who's interested in seeing this just can go to the Community Edition and check it out, what it can do. And it's a really interesting platform, dashboarding platform that Grafana is. And then also there are other services that you can develop in this sort of thing, because mainly this platform is made by loosely coupled microservices framework. So it's not hardwired. You can always take things out and put things in, or you can expand the platform or whatever the way you want according to the requirements that you get from your clients, or according to the requirements that arises. So once these things are there, and you should always make sure of the security of your platform and the ability to expand the solution. So these are the main things that you need to look into your IoT Edge platform. And believe me, I'll show you'll get this after seeing the video that I'm going to show towards the end. This platform has a major capacity, a great power to change the whole industry. So Industry 4.0 actually gets enabled after using this platform only. So imagine this single platform is going to change your whole enterprise operations in just one go. So when it comes to Industry 4.0, as you can see, the first two stages are Industry 3 stages, which is computerization and connectivity. So that's the digitalization part of your whole factory or your enterprise level. So once it is digitalized, then what the platform, the IoT Edge platform does is it helps you to start your Industry 4.0 journey, or you can call it as an Industry 4.0 enabler, because it directly gives you the visibility and transparency for all the operations that you've implemented your IoT solution on. So that would be the start of your journey in the Industry 4.0 part. And once this data is there, and if after you collect it for like 6 months or so, then you can go for proper analytics, like deep machine learning analytics, like looking into patterns and looking into things that you have never seen. And you can go for many different things in from 5th stage onwards. And then the artificial intelligence stage comes right towards the end of adaptability of the 6th pillar. That's right towards the end, and you shouldn't even focus about or think about it at this moment, because first things first, what you need is data. Data is everything to it. And once you have the data and once you have the proper IoT platform, then first 4 stages of Industry 4.0 is covered actually maybe in like a month or so. So that's why I'm trying to get to it. Industry 4.0 is not as hard as industries 1 to 3 that we have experienced, especially for developing countries. So the next topic is that's what I'm gonna address about why Industry 4.0 is a big deal for us, because all these 1.0, 2, and 3 revolutions that the world have encountered, you need a large land area, you need a lot of people, and then you need a lot of investment to do it. So for an example, you can't build in half a factory and do any processes by using it. So if you, for an example, if you are in the second industrial revolution, you have to build one big whole factory to do whatever you want to do. So if you need to produce apparels, for an example, you have to build that whole factory end to end in order to put out one piece of item. But when it comes to the fourth revolution, it's cyber physical systems. So physically, whatever there is there, you don't have to upgrade that, but you can upgrade your cyber capacity of it. So you get the data out of all these machines or whatever you need to get, and then you make a cyberspace out of it. And then you're dealing with in the cyberspace. So you don't need to have a land area, or you don't need much people to do it. You alone can just get involved with the digital twin that you make, and then you can make decisions, you can play around with it, and you can see how it's gonna affect your actual productions or actual factory. So fourth revolution is best in that way, for especially for developing countries. And also fourth revolution is still at the start. Not much people have gone too far in it, but we need to start it at some point. This is what I'm going to talk about in the next slide. Data and future, because all these things at the end of the day, they adapt to data. So data is the main thing that you need to invest in. So in a typical technology business, the technology will grow quickly. So industry revolutions 1 to 3, the technologies have developed quickly, but also the technology will adapt. And the company doesn't need to start it immediately. After it has been established, the companies can adapt with it. But the problem with the data technology is that data grows quickly, but more than that, it grows exponentially. So if you don't start to collect data as soon as possible, what would happen is people who collect data would have enormous number of information and things that they can do in a very short time, and then you would never be able to catch up to them. It would be so hard to catch up to them, especially if you're going with your competitors and things like that. If your competitors have enough data and valuable information on their business, if you take a 10-year time span, and if you start to collect your data after 6 years, they would already have so much data about their business and about your business as well, and they would do so many new things and come up with new ways of doing business, which you would see after some time only. So gathering data, collecting data as soon as you can is a major step that you can do, is a major investment, I would say, because it would definitely pay you back after some time. It is what's going to help you, not the machines or not the things like that. The machines would be there, you would properly maintain it after looking at the data and everything. So data is what's going to play it's what's going to be a huge role after maybe 5 or 6 years. So in this slide, I want to show you is the demand for data that would be in another 20 to 30 years. So initially, you can see if you from 2010 to 24, there will be zettabytes, 175 zettabytes of data, and then after if you go for 2050, there will be 500,000 amounts of zettabytes of data, and zettabytes is a massive amount of data. You can Google it and see how much data a zettabyte contains. So that's much of demand is what's been coming towards data in the ongoing scenario of things. So the best thing is to start collecting data somehow from somewhere. So it will never be a problem to you, and it will always come in handy when when it requires to be. So to finish off the thing, the idea or the presentation that I was trying to tell you, summary of a smart enterprise comes in three major things. So data, information, and decision making. So data types, you can gather business data, market data, supplier, machinery, and premises data. These are the data types, and there might be much more data types that I've not included here. So these are the data types that you have. And by analyzing this data and correlating this data with each other would give you insights for your business and market supplier. So basically, whatever the data you get the insight for that particular category. If you get business data, you get business insights. You get market data, you get market insights. So it actually helps you to easily do your enterprises and easily plan things in a larger scale of things that you can't handle at once. This will help you to do everything in a much easier and a much more efficient way. So once you have the information, you can go for decision making. You can go for cost reduction methods. You can go for production improvement methods. And also the best thing is you can always also go for extra revenue methods. Like when you have your supplier data and things like that, you can sell this data to your suppliers, which is already been done by a lot of local companies like John Kears. I know for a fact they do that. They especially Kears chain, they get their supply information, they analyze it, and they sell it to them, and they try to improve their suppliers as well. So this data would come in so many ways which are not even mentioned here. So we might not even know that this data that you collect today, how it's going to help you after some point, but it is going to help you because along with the data, all the technologies are also developing around it. So once it's at that point, there'll be a lot of new things that you can't even think of right now that you can do with your data. So the major point that I'm going to put it out there is that I think data would be the major thing that's going to change the future of enterprises, or basically even your lives. Data going to change your lives in the future, and start investing on data, like money wise or career wise or like knowledge wise, however it is, with the capabilities you have, start to invest on data as soon as you can. So I'm gonna stop my presentation there, and I will show you this video that we've done for our ice cream factory, Elephant House Ice Cream Factory. And this would give you a great understanding on what an IoT platform can do to take your company or take your industry in order to achieve Industry 4.0 standards. So give me a few seconds, I'll start the video.
MIT IoT offerings for manufacturing industry, process monitoring, production performance monitoring, machine breakdown analysis, energy and utility monitoring, alerting and controlling. Collaboration of technologies used to enable MI connected factory. Communication protocols, Modbus TCP, OPC UA and DA. Sensors and hardware, HMI. Counting sensor array, visualization and reporting. Grafana, Power BI, Time Series Database, InfluxDB, Real-Time Alerts, SMS, MS Teams, Linux Clustering, DRBD, Pacemaker, Docker. Features and functionalities. Here presents the features and unique capabilities which make our solution a trendsetter. Digital replication of factory operations, real-time decision-making through edge analytics, elaborative dashboards to present all the monitored parameters, multiple device accessibility for digital replication, scalability and security, interoperability, advanced reporting and generation of insights into the business. MI Connected Factory enables the Industry 4.0 journey to witness a fully transformed enterprise. Scalability of MI Connected Factory. MIT IoT believes in ever-expanding technology and values scalability. Multi-gateway edge architecture provides just that. Solution architecture. Starting from the factor premises to final data storage, dashboards and reports. Here presents the general MI connected factory solution architecture. There is no hassle of cabling anymore. Multi-hop banner wireless radio network connects all the devices to MIT IoT Edge platform through Modbus. Product counting sensors. Human-machine interfaces and purpose delivering sensors all connected to banner wireless radio network as a preview of data transmission in IoT solutions for which is to dominate the future market. MIT IoT platform for MiConnected Factory. Device management. Parameter debugging. Data visualization. Utility monitoring. Production monitoring. KPI monitoring. Alerts and notifications. Access from any device, from anywhere. Real-time monitoring. Hierarchical dashboards with adjustable timelines to present all the monitored parameters. Live data on screens. Going beyond real-time analytics, MiConnected Factory provides business intelligent reports and insights collaborating with a variety of BI tools. Some are Power BI, Tableau, Click. Ability to integrate third-party systems. Long-term data storage and third-party system integration is a major part of IoT, and here at MIT we made it possible through our IoT Edge. MiConnected Factory solution is equipped with this capability. Our existing integrations are Microsoft Azure IoT Hub, Node-RED, InfluxDB Time Series Database, MS SQL databases, MQTT, Azure Active Directory. We don't stop from there. MIT IoT Edge is capable of integrating with AWS IoT Core, Google Cloud IoT Core, IBM Watson Platform. Benefits of MiConnected Factory. After the execution of MiConnected Factory, experience the transformation through quality improvement, through the enabling of root cause analysis insights. Machine condition monitoring helps in optimizing the machines used in the process of manufacturing. Optimization in energy and consumables towards green manufacturing. Productivity improvement through digital replication of the process. Traceability for quality assurance and successful delivery of products. MillenniumIT ESP. Reimagine, reinvent.
Thank you very much for going through the video, and hope you'd give you an understanding on the capacity or the capabilities of the IoT and IoT platforms. And for the next few minutes, I like to take questions, Nandini. So I hope you have a great week, and I'm open for questions if there are any.
Sure, Dasun, sure. First of all, what an interesting session, and thank you so much for sharing your expertise with all of us. And yes, we can now proceed to the Q&A session. Just a gentle reminder to everybody who has joined us online, you can send your questions directly through the Q&A feature that you can find on the right-hand side of your screens. But Dasun, before I take up any other questions from the audience, I actually have a question that I would like to ask you. Early on, when you were talking about the approach towards towards smart enterprises, you mentioned that it's important that we identify processes that need immediate visibility, right? So how would you really say that we can identify processes that need the most amount of visibility?
Yes, Nandini, that's a good question. Actually, I was trying to emphasize that area as well. So what I'm trying to say is that this is something that if you're talking about client point of view, this is something that clients would definitely understand more than the solution or the service provider. So if we, for an example, if we take a manufacturing firm, manufacturing factory or something like that, then the factory manager would definitely know that, okay, I don't have much visibility, or I don't see much into these processes. So I need more information on it in a real-time basis, or in some sort of way. I need to know what's happening here, because there are some bottlenecks. He might be thinking there are some bottlenecks for sure, which he doesn't see, or he needs to attend to these things immediately in order to get things right. So that kind of visibility is what I'm talking about. And then they would know this really well. Okay, these are the places that I need it. And then from there only, that point onwards, you can start collecting data and things like that. I think guess, yeah.
Yeah, that actually, gives a bit more clarity. Yeah, thank you for that, Dasun. And I can see that we've got a couple of questions already. All right, so somebody from the audience has asked us, how long would it take to fully achieve the Industry 4.0 standards?
It's pretty so the first 4 steps actually are pretty basic. Basic as in, like, first 2 stage digitalization part, you need proper sensors or proper computers, and computerization and proper network. So if you have these 2 things, your first 2 stages would be already done. And the next stage is the next 2 stages would come with the IoT platform part. So this is where IoT comes into play. So if you have already achieved the first 2 pillars of it, and if you have a IoT platform already with you, and then you can complete the first 4 stages of the whole journey. But the next 2 stages doesn't have a basic or a standard time like that. It's all about analyzing your data. So as your data grows, the decisions that you make, the analytics that you do are much more advanced. So in those 2 stages, it totally depends on how capable you are and how quality you have your information are. So you can't actually say, okay, now we have completed Industry 4.0 and we have done with it. You can't say that, because last 2 stages are always adapting with the new technologies and the data that being gathered.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second question that has come in is this one. Okay, it reads, how much of data is required in order to start seeing ROI in the journey towards a smart enterprise?
Right. Yeah. So I think this question can be connected with the previous one, because See, ROI definitely starts to come after you analyze your data and after you get your information. Because just by installing sensors and just by getting raw data out of your machines or whatever the things that you're getting data from, doesn't give you any ROI at all. It's just data that you get. So, but data is your investment. Data is, like people say, data is your oil. So first you need to get crude oil to get petrol. So like that, you need to dig data as much as you can, and your ROI starts to come after. It can come after a month, or if it can come after 3 years or 5 years or anything like that. It's the quality of analytics that you perform on your gathered data which gives you your ROI. So it doesn't have a proper time. So after the fourth stage of Industry 4.0, you can plan on getting ROIs from the data that you receive, and after making them into information, you can make much smarter decisions, and that would help you to get a much bigger or a much accurate ROI after the investment.
Right. Okay, so there's another question, Dasun. Somebody else is also asking, how would Sri Lanka embrace Industry 4.0, and what kind of market will be there for solution providers?
So Sri Lanka can definitely embrace, like I said earlier, embrace Industry 4.0 because, like I said, there are no big investments or larger things that you have to do. So in Sri Lanka, what we always had was brilliant engineers, brilliant minds, rather than, more than physically able people. We are really good with people, we are really good with minds or the brains. So Industry 4.0 is basically driven by the brain power. So if Sri Lankan engineers are focused on having a proper Industry 4.0 practice within the industries or the enterprises in Sri Lanka, our engineers itself can come up with better standards and better ways of standardizing Industry 4.0, which suits for our local enterprises and industries. So rather than, like I said, rather than depending on Europe or British, England or US or China or things like that, we have our own set of data of our own enterprises and our own people, and then we can make smart decisions out of it, and it would actually help to shape our Industry 4.0 practice within Sri Lanka. So I think the main responsibility falls for engineers and academics who are pursuing this path to bring Sri Lanka up to those standards.
Right. Dasun, there's one more question that's similar to basically what you just answered right now.
Yeah.
Let's read it out. Somebody else is asking, what kind of a market will be there for Industry 4.0 in Sri Lanka as a developing country? So I think you partly just answered that question, but do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, so industry market as in, it's like this. Industry 4.0 is not a product, it's a concept. So when you say market, the market for Industry 4.0 comes from from 2 point of things. So the enterprises or the industries should be open to go for these new ideas or solutions, and the system integrators or the solution providers should be ready and should always be with the new technologies that come, and always be ready to give what the clients or to give the right thing to the clients in order of Industry 4.0 standards, in order to meet the standards. So you can't sell Industry 4.0. It's just that you can do things in order to achieve Industry 4.0. So both the parties, the clients and as well as the service providers, both should be brave and comfortable with new technologies, and should have an understanding on how the world is moving and how the things are going to be in the future. And once that is there, it's about just going in a journey that at the end of the day, you don't even know you will be achieving your standards for Industry 4.0.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Dasun, for taking that up. Let me say if there's anything else. Okay. If we have any other questions, we will. You can reach out to Dasun directly, and I think in that case, Dasun, I don't see any other questions on my screen right now. I think we can conclude today's session. And if you have any other questions, though, please feel free to reach out to Dasun directly. You can see his contact details right now on your screens. And with that note, Dasun, thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge with us today. And I hope you can join us again for another MiTech Tuesday session. And also thank you to all our joinees who have come online and spent the last hour with us today. Please stay tuned to find out when our next MiTech Tuesday will be. We will be announcing all the relevant details on our social media platforms as always. And have yourselves a very good evening. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, guys.